From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Still digging out. Look at these scenes from around Billings. While most schools are back on schedule, how businesses and snow crews are clawing out from under piles of fresh snow across the area. And salvage recovery, the ongoing efforts to clear the debris of the deadly DC plane crash as more bodies are found, 67 people killed in that. Plus, water audit results, what we're learning this morning from the Billings City water audit, nearly a year in the making. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, February 4th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome back, Augusta.
Happy to be back. Happy to cut my flight. I had no issues flying in from the East Coast yesterday. I flew in about 1:30. I was kind of wondering if things would be delayed, but all went smoothly. Of course, a lot of snow and ice, though. My car had been parked since Thursday. I hadn't been here, and I was out there with a broom.
Piled up on you,
the snow off, and it sounds like plows are now getting to the residential areas in the city, of course, clearing all the snow.
Yeah, and just give them some grace out there, folks. They're working hard for us, but we're coming off of 2 days of record snow. On Sunday, we had a record amount, was it 3.7 inches? Yesterday, we had a record amount of snow here in Billings at the airport officially. We had 5.1 inches of snow. That beat the record of 3.1 back in 1955. Now, with the snow, did we get enough moisture? Look at that. We had over 0.3 of an inch of moisture, and that's what we need. So dry out there, so it's helping out with the drought conditions. We're seeing a little bit of snow out there this morning, especially to our west and to our north, where we still have some winter storm warnings in effect. Here locally in Billings should get a bit of a break. And then we could see some snow tomorrow, and then maybe Friday a better opportunity to see maybe a couple more inches coming in. But with those moisture totals, we're ahead for the month and for the year, starting off pretty good. Snow totals for the month way ahead, but still below average for the season. But over the last 2 days, we've cut that deficit in half. Just some snow totals around the area. Fishtail, 25 inches. Melville, 18 inches. 2-Dot, over 13 inches. Near Red Lodge, close to 13 inches. And about 10 inches around Livingston, and near 11 inches in Absaroka. So a lot of snowfall out there. For some of us getting a break, we still have snow in the forecast, and of course it's staying very cold. We'll take a look at all of that coming up this hour.
All right, still very cold, Miller. Thanks so much for tracking those details. And we have some breaking news this morning in the Billings Heights area. Billings City Police say they're on the scene of an individual actively shooting outside of a home on the 400 block of Jerry Lane. Again, this is up in the Heights. It's near Lake Elmo State Park. This story all still evolving. We're closely following this after the situation was shared with us about an hour ago. Right now, we don't know much outside of the initial reports to shelter in place in this area from Billings Police posted on Facebook. Captain Woolley from Billings PD again asking everyone to also stay away from this area. There is a heavy law enforcement presence. Both SWAT and negotiators are on that scene. Again, residents, if you're in the area, stay in your home, shelter in place. We'll keep you posted as more details are made available. And while crews are clearing away all of the snow, travelers still urged to proceed with caution this morning. As of now, schools are planning to open their doors today. We've got a couple of updates, though. Columbus schools just over the hill will be starting class an hour later this morning. And over in Livingston, no buses will be running today, but school will start at its usual time. If there are any changes throughout the region with school closures, delays, bus issues, we will continue to update you. And if you're a school administrator, please send us that information at Montana This Morning at ktvq.com. We'll be sure to share. And from below zero temperatures, like Miller was talking about, to several feet of snow up in the mountains, winter delivered hazardous conditions to much of the state to start off the week. Most schools across our part of the region were closed, but the weather did keep some businesses open and very busy. From snow removal companies to plumbers to auto body shops, phones were ringing off the hook, we're told, because of problems caused by the storm. Marcus Kokova shows us a couple of downtown businesses who actually welcomed the Monday snow.
Snowing pretty heavily in downtown Billings, and so much so that you can pretty much walk in the middle of the street without anybody driving by. It's keeping a lot of people inside, and for downtown businesses, that's not exactly ideal.
Yes, everybody's calling it a snow day, except, well, us small businesses, we're still here.
Snow is at the heart of downtown's Valentine's giveaway, a collaboration of 30 local businesses meant to draw crowds despite the cold.
The giveaway itself is not an online giveaway, a little different than we're all used to, right?
This way they have to come downtown, maybe do a little bit of shopping, and look around and see what downtown has to offer.
Jody Brockle, who spearheaded the in-person only raffle, says when the snow piles up, business chills to a halt. But just down the street,
it's warm, it's cozy, everybody wants to hunker down with their wool.
the Yarn Bar says it sees more customers in days of snow.
You're working on a blanket and it's snowing, there's probably nothing better in life than sitting and having something warm on your lap while you're making it.
Whether you go out or stay in, I think we can all agree. I hate snow for one reason, and it's driving.
We have seen a lot of major accidents, of course, with this kind of weather too, but yeah, I mean, sliding through intersections, we see a lot of that this time of year.
Yarn Bar isn't the only place with more traffic. And at Trackside Auto Body, staff get some pretty spiffy snow attire when things get busy.
So essentially the suit is what protects you from all the paint. You know, you don't want that getting on your skin.
Despite the driving difficulty, they say Montana's beauty outshines its complications, something folks are fond of.
The great part about Montana is you actually get to enjoy all 4 of the seasons. And I think the people that are in Montana, they want to see all 4 seasons.
Marcus Gakova, MTN News.
Marcus, thanks so much. And now begins the process of digging out from all of this snow. City plows say the main roads are in pretty good shape across town, and they're beginning their process of plowing residential streets. Some of those areas have more than 6 inches of snow on them right now. Let's take a look at the city map. Plows began in residential areas in Region 2. That stretches from Broadwater to Pauley. They'll continue there and go to the next area 3, which covers much of the west end. Region 4 on the south side follows after that, with Area 5 covering North Billings. And the Heights in Section 6 will be plowed next to last, with crews finishing up in Region 1. There's no timetable as to when all of these streets will be plowed, but keep an eye out. There are plows on the streets this morning, working very hard to get that snow cleared. And in national news this morning, salvage crews continue recovering remains from the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. after the deadly collision there between a passenger jet and an Army helicopter last week. Most, but not all victims have been recovered and identified. CBS's Naomi Ruckham has the latest on the search and what the next few days will bring to this investigation.
Crews have now lifted the right engine, a wing, and the fuselage belonging to the American Airlines plane from the water following last week's deadly crash with an Army Black Hawk helicopter over Washington, D.C. For today, their goal is to recover the cockpit from the water, though on Monday, officials say they paused the salvage operation several times after finding more human remains.
Our process is committed to the dignified process for recovery of the remains for personnel and passengers of the flight.
55 of the 67 victims have been found and the families notified, including Sarah Best, a former math teacher who went on to earn a law degree.
She made it fun. Nobody wants to sit in the classroom and do math, but Miss Best, she made it the best.
As NTSB investigators look into the cause of the crash, they say black box data indicates the plane was flying at around 325 feet at the time of the collision, higher than the 200 feet set by the Federal Aviation Administration for helicopter traffic in that area. Investigators also say the plane appeared to pull up about a second before the crash, a possible final attempt to fly out of the helicopter's path. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
This crash is now considered the deadliest in the U.S. since November of 2001, when a jet crashed into a New York City neighborhood just after takeoff, killing all 260 people on board and 5 others on the ground. And back here in Billings, the long-awaited results from the city's water audit were presented to the public and city council members last night. Simply put, the audit reveals no current errors when it comes to those high bills. It did identify several areas where the department can improve. However, as our David J. reports, this news has left some residents flabbergasted with more questions than answers.
The auditing firm made its presentation to the City Council on the water bills. It said that the meters were accurate and the system correctly figured out the bills. There's a chance for the public to comment, as well as for the City Council to give its input. Billings residents have been waiting to find out what happened with their water bills last year.
And so that process of going through those initial billings and their commitment to not send out erroneous bills is what caused the whole system to back up and cause the errors that exist.
David Allen of SL Serco, the firm that conducted the audit, says implementation and communication were the big reasons for the confusion. SL Serco determined metering and billing were accurate. All 76 meters randomly tested showed no instances of overbilling.
They were pulling in data for 60 and 90 days, and we have a tiered rate structure where you pay more the more water you use. Well, that system created some overcharges.
The report does acknowledge errors when the city first transitioned to the newer software, caused by what it says were inaccuracies in the initial setup of the new system and human error driven by lack of training, system knowledge, and documented procedures. 15,000 of around 40,000 bills initially had errors.
One of the things that has come out of this is that there's nothing nefarious that's happened. There's no shucking and jiving that occurred to try to swindle money anywhere. There certainly have been things that we messed up. And Chris and I have talked a lot about extreme accountability.
Some from the public still had their concerns.
You could have saved yourself a lot of trouble if you'd sent out 2 bills instead of combining them.
I guess that would be the legacy system. So I used 26,000 gallons. I have a bill, my double bill, the July-August bill. It says for June 2024, I used 43,000 gallons. That's why I don't trust the new system.
And the city council wants to bring back the trust.
With all diligence and doing as much as we can to get the public's trust back, and Chris as well. Everybody's been willing to step up and talk openly and honestly about some pretty tough decisions that were made and circumstances.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thanks so much. We've been following the city's problems with the new billing software, which are almost a year in the making now. The Public Works Department launched the new software rollout in February of last year before discovering errors in some of the bills, and that caused a delay in billing. That delay resulted in 2- and 3-month bills being sent out all at once. Hundreds of Billings residents were frustrated by those larger than normal totals, and many began reporting problems and concerns in May and June. Throughout the summer, the city maintained bills were correct, but to regain public trust, agreed in late October to a third-party audit. That firm, SL Serco, began collecting meters, the physical hardware, for testing on November 6th, starting with 30 units randomly selected. Then on December 11th, more water meters from homes were shipped out for testing. SL Serco then reviewed all of that data, wrapping up their final report on January 31st before revealing the results on Monday.